This is the most powerful BMW ever made. It's called the 2026 BMW M5. It has over 717 horsepower and it costs over $140,000. And in today's video, I'm going to tell you guys everything you need to know about this car, from the specs, the driving experience, the design of the exterior and the interior, and much more. So let's go. And first thing first, we need to talk about the specs of this car, because this car is powered by a 4.4-liter twin-turbocharged V8 that creates over 717 horsepower and 738 pound-feet of torque. This is the #1 most powerful BMW ever made. It has about 100 more horsepower than any other BMW that's anywhere as close to power, because the BMW XM, which is pretty much what this car's engine has, so the BMW XM has the same engine as this car, well, that has about 680 horsepower, but this has over 717, so that in itself is also kind of crazy. But all that power goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission via all 4 wheels because of a beautiful hybrid system. So the way the hybrid system pretty much works, it pretty much allows you to have one electric motor in the transmission of this car, and that helps drive, I believe, the front wheels, but then the actual engine, which creates about 617 horsepower on its own, well, that drives the rear wheels. And so the electric motors actually help about 100 plus horsepower. So 100 plus horsepower is actually from that electric motor mounted in your transmission, which is definitely quite crazy. But all that power goes through all 4 wheels to help this car catapult to 0 to 60 in only 3 seconds flat, and onto a top speed of over 190 miles an hour, even though it can reach about 200 miles an hour quite easily. But the weight of this car is the only thing that I'd say is definitely not too great. But before I tell you guys the weight, I need to tell you guys something that's probably as important as the specs of this car, which is the quarter mile, because the quarter mile of this car is also seriously insane. So the quarter mile of this car is 10.9 seconds, which is just insane. Like a 2024 Porsche 911 Turbo S, the last gen 992.1, well, that had a quarter mile in about 9.8 seconds. But this weighs a lot, to tell the truth, but still, the quarter mile is insanely fast. This thing is a supercar destroying 5-seater sedan that you could buy for less than $140,000. So that in itself is also seriously insane. But, well, before we talk anymore, I need to tell you guys the weight of this thing, because the weight of this thing is completely insane. Because, well, this thing weighs 6,930 pounds. So this thing is as heavy as some, well, full-size SUVs. Like the BMW, I believe it's called the X9, weighs pretty much the same as this hybrid sedan. So that is also seriously wild. But then you guys are probably wondering, what is the range of this car? Because the range, it's not the best, to tell the truth, but it's also not the worst. But, well, let me just tell you guys that, because the range of this car is 302 miles in range. So it's not extremely great, but it's not extremely bad, because it's actually relatively good for a car that creates over 700 horsepower. And, well, yeah. So now I've told you guys pretty much everything that you guys think you need to know about this car. Now I need to tell you guys just one more thing, which is the price, or at least you guys would think it is. But before I tell you guys that, I need to tell you guys the history of this car. So, well, let's go. And, well, it all started in 1984 when BMW decided to create a sedan that had the engine of the super-duper iconic BMW M1 supercar. And, well, they pretty much just put the engine in a regular old 5 Series sedan and created the supercar slaying BMW M5. And that lasted from 1984 to 1988. But then from 1988 to 1995, BMW decided, why don't we take this up a notch and replace the regular, I guess you could say regular M1 engine, and instead replace it with a 3.8-liter engine that created a lot more horsepower and was way more elegant. And, well, the first generation was called the BMW E28 series, and the second generation, which I just told you guys about, was called the BMW E34 series. But then, from 1998 to, well, 2003, BMW decided to take it up another notch and give it a 5.0-liter 400 horsepower V8. And, well, it made it more refined, faster, and it actually handled better overall than its older variants. But then, from 2005 to 2010, my personal personal favorite, well, series of BMW M5. So the 2005 to 2010 series and this new one are, I guess you could say, my favorite versions of the BMW M5 yet. And well, the 2005 to 2010 version was insane in no other way that any M5 since has been, because that car had a 507 horsepower V10 in, well, a M5, which is pretty much just a M5, which is pretty much just a 5 Series that they put an extra engine and make it faster and look better. But well, that had a V10 with Formula One technology. But then from 2011 to 2016, BMW gave the M5, well, an engine that wasn't as crazy but was more powerful than that crazy V10 powered M5. It was a 4.4 liter twin turbo V8 that this car pretty much has the same components with. It's not exactly the same, but it's the same type of engine, V8 twin turbo, but it's not a V10 anymore, which kind of, I'd say, is a little sad. But well, from 2011 to 2016, you had the beautiful new refined, more powerful, more torque V8, but then from, well, 2017 to 2023, BMW brought out the MX Drive series, which pretty much allowed you to have an all-wheel drive M5, because before 2016 and under, you couldn't get an all-wheel drive M5. They were only actually rear-wheel drive, but now you get the MX Drive series, and that was a crazy all-wheel drive M5 for all of your crazy dreams. But then, from 2025 to the present, BMW came out with the new, extremely heavy, extremely powerful, extremely fast M5. So that is the interesting, kind of short, but still quite interesting history of the BMW M5. Now, all I need to tell you guys is, well, the price, because this thing starts at $128,000 to $133,000. That's before tax, just a base spec with nothing extra, like no M performance package, no nothing, just base spec and everything. This one might look base spec because it's white, but it has a lot of wild options that I want to show you guys when we check out the design. But I've told you guys pretty much everything you need to know about this car, spec-wise and history-wise. Now let's start checking out the exterior, interior, and drive this thing to find out if it's the ultimate bad boy M5. And first and first, I want to talk about the front of this car, because there's a lot of design changes that they've changed for this new M5 compared to the older 2023 and under M5. And first, check out this front. So the front is extremely wide and large on the thing compared to the older version of M5. Usually they're like smaller and less like extreme looking. They're definitely more elegant, but this one, BMW definitely tried to prioritize being like, I guess you could say, more aggressive for their M models. And first, this nice M5 badging here, nice little M colors there. You have nice little camera integrated right there, and actually most of this grille, this is actually called the kidney grille. A lot of BMWs have had it, like the BMW M3, M4, M5. Pretty much every BMW you could think of since 1960 has had this grille, because the original BMW was a coupe, I believe it was called a 280. Well, that started this trend of kidney grilles, which is really quite interesting. And then you have your nice little sensors hidden behind here. I don't know why like some of this grille's fake and the rest actually works, but yeah, that is also kind of strange, but still kind of interesting. Then you also have some more sensors there as well, and then you have these humongous air intakes. Check out these air intakes, like monstrously huge air intakes. On the regular 5 Series, they're way smaller, but on this thing, you have humongous. You actually have air intakes right here and air intakes right there as well, which is definitely quite interesting. Then you have more air intakes going here, and then also some going from the side. And I'll talk about that in a second, but these actually lead to the tires and rims to cool them down and stuff like that. So that is also seriously nice. Then you also have your BMW logo there, and they actually changed it up a little bit, because before the BMW logo had more of like a bluish type of line around the logo, so they kind of changed it a little bit, not too much so you can really notice it, but yeah, you have that new BMW logo there. And actually, one really interesting thing with the BMW logo is that the entire BMW logo, well, at least this piece, it's supposed to signalize the like propellers of an airplane, like, which is kind of strange. It's supposed to be like when they're in motion, the way they look. So that is what the BMW logo is supposed to look like, because originally BMW built airplanes in World War II. So that is another interesting fact. Then you also have these nice little lights here. I think they're pretty much the same as the regular 5 Series. Nothing really much changed there, but overall the front is way more like larger and wider, because the regular 5 Series, the front goes down about to right here, but this it's way more spread out. Well, then you come to the side, and you also have another air intake here, which is also quite nice. And yeah, then you also have your nice little blinker light here. And actually, you can see these air intakes here are coming straight through here. You can always see my hand coming from there. But you have those air intakes there. Then you actually have more, a little hidden behind the tires, but those air intakes right here are actually feeding air straight into the rims and tires to help this thing cool down. And actually, now let's speak about them, because it's definitely quite cool. The regular BMW 5 Series has more subtle and elegant looking rims, but this one has black metal rims, nice BMW logo there, humongous sport brakes, check those out, nice sporty red brakes, and of course you have your M logo inside of there. Then you guys might be wondering why it looks like someone poked a whole bunch of holes into the brake pad. Well, it's not that. It's actually because when the air goes through those holes, it actually cools the brake pad down easier. So let's say you're going on a Nürburgring in this car, which I doubt you guys will, but let's just say, well, it helps cool the brakes and tires down. So that is also seriously nice. Then you also have nice Pirelli P0 tires here. So they're like the most performance-oriented tires you could possibly get. And these are the newest generation, because the BMW M1, which actually had the same engine as the original BMW M5, or vice versa, well, that had Pirelli P7 tires. So those are like the older version, from like 50 years ago of the Pirelli P1s, but these are pretty much the newer versions of the P7s. Then you come to the side, you have this really nice carbon fiber encased mirror. And another thing that's actually interesting about BMW that no other company does is, well, this. So it might seem subtle, but all M series BMWs have this. You have this little like winglet piece. I don't know how aerodynamically like efficient or if you need this, but you have this cool little winglet piece here that's kind of mended straight out of the beautiful carbon fiber there, which is also really nice. You have your blinker light there, and it's actually quite small inside, even though it looks a little bigger on the outside. But yeah, then you come to the side, and you can definitely tell this car is, let's just say, chunky. Like, it's definitely seriously wide. Like, if you look from the front view, this thing is really, really wide. You have also these nice little side skirts here as well, which is also really nice. And yeah, then you also have BMW M5 lettering here, just so if you guys don't know that there's an M5 driving past, or if you're driving your M5, then of course you'll know that's an M5. And so that's also really nice. And you also have your fuel cap here as well. And then let's come to the back and talk about some huge changes to the 5 Series lineup compared to the original 5 Series, or well, BMW M5. So one is this. You have brand new rear tail lights. The older tail lights were a little more like big and like more rounded, I guess you could say, but these ones are more square and futuristic, I guess. And you have your backup light there, you have your 2 stopping lights there, and of course you have to have M5 lettering here so you know you're driving an M5, or you know M5's in front of you. Then you also have this nice little carbon fiber wing here as well, which is actually, it's not like something that you just get on the base car. It's actually a really nice, I believe like $2,000 option on this car, so this is also really cool. I don't know how much aerodynamics this helps with, but that is definitely really cool. Then you also have BMW badging there as well. You hop down here and you have your double exhausts, which are actually on the regular 5 Series, you just have one on each side, but these ones are bigger, thicker, and definitely much louder. And actually, speaking of louder, now let's rev this thing up. And yeah, so you heard that. It definitely sounds quite nice. I bet you at 8,000 RPM, this thing sounds seriously good. But yeah, then you hop down here and you have more of the air intake, or I guess you could say rear diffuser type pieces there. You have your nice little brake light there, and that actually reminds me of like FIA race cars, F1 race cars. They all have this little like blinker lights when they're stopping. Cars could see, since the cars are so low, they can't really have like a light stop light up there because the roofs are so low. So that is also really nice. Now, actually, let's open up this trunk and see how spacious it is. So these are definitely one of the easiest to open doors. So yeah, you just pop that right open, and you could actually close it again right here. You have lock there as well. And actually, this is probably also one of the easiest to reach trunks, because a lot of trunks, even on these sedans, like you reach and it's like you're trying to reach up here, but this one just easily a tap away. And yeah, you have also BMW nice little first aid kit there, which of course is quite nice, and let's just put that there. I don't know why on a lot of hybrids and EVs you have this. Check this out. So you have little like extra storage spaces behind the haunches. Maybe the cars are just too wide these days, so they don't know what to do with that extra space. But that's definitely quite interesting. And then actually check this out. I've only seen this on one other car, and I'm actually going to be posting that review after this video, but this is really cool. So you pop this open and you press this, then you go to the door, open it up, and you simply just drop this all down, and well then you have a whole bunch of extra space. This is probably like 4 feet of extra space you got after putting those down. Let's pop that back up, but that is really cool. I don't know if a lot of cars these days have that, but that is one feature I could say I definitely love. Even on regular cars, it's super nice. Then also the trunk space. You have a huge amount of trunk space. Like literally, you could put 2 sleeping bags down there and lay on them because this thing is so spacious. Not literally, but yeah, so great amount of trunk space. You also have your emergency like lock. Let's say if you get stuck in the trunk or something, you just pull that latch and open it up, and it's actually right there. So it glows in the dark, glows green in the dark. I don't know exactly how bright, but yeah, so that is really nice. You have it only on one side, but yes, that is also definitely cool. So now let's close this trunk up and check out a couple more things about this car before we hop inside. So the most quiet trunk as well I've ever heard. Like this thing doesn't make a single sound. This is perfect for if you want to be like extremely super quiet or something like that. So yeah, this is definitely quite nice. Okay, so let's go. And as soon as you start driving this thing, you can tell it is a beast. Like, look at that acceleration. The 0 to 60 on this thing is just crazy from that 717 horsepower. This thing. And also, one thing you don't hear much on like hybrids, like pretty much most of the time, and a lot of the time sedans, is like when you drive them, you don't hear like that like rumble from the engine. But this one, it sounds so nice. And yeah, you have paddle shifters. This thing feels seriously fast. Whoa. And like the exterior sound, even though this is supposed to be a more sporty type model, the exterior sound on this thing is actually like a lot of the noise is canceled out, which is definitely quite nice. And yeah, this thing is a beast. From a stop, like I can't say how fast, but I bet this thing is crazy fast from a stop to 60.
0 to 60 is anywhere from 3.2 to 3.5 seconds, depending on the extra packaging you could get inside this model.
Yeah, because you could get like, I believe M Sport packaging and stuff like that.
So the M Sport will come naturally with these vehicles. However, when you get to some of the driving assistant, there's add-ons that add the M driver package, and that's what you're looking to tap up the top speed of these vehicles, as well as getting that extra getting you to that 3.2.
Oh, that's cool. And 3.2, I definitely like just driving at this speed, like just accelerating 10 miles an hour. It feels like wildly quick. And yeah, ride quality also, even though this is supposed to be like more of a sporty type car, it definitely feels quite smooth. The suspension isn't really hard. I mean, because this is still a 5-seater sedan, so it's a sporty 5-seater sedan that's also happens to be BMW's most powerful and wildest car they've ever made, at least horsepower and torque wise, because this thing is 717 horsepower. Like, actually, since this is the most powerful BMW ever, I wonder, like, where is BMW going with this performance? Like, imagine 10 years from now how much power these cars are gonna have. Well, yeah, it's definitely gonna be quite wild. And yeah, so let's talk also a little bit about the view from the cabin. So the window, I mean, the view out of this car is definitely quite nice, since I'm sure I put my seat up a little bit, but this is from my view right here, and the field of view is seriously good. And it's actually interesting. I guess this is like lights or something like that. I guess these are like the LED lights, which is quite interesting. I never saw them actually like with this type of design. Usually they're just like thin little strips or something like that. But this, it looks almost like crystal. But you could see on the camera that's kind of like blinking, so you could tell it's a LED. I actually didn't realize that at first. I thought it was a piece of trim or something like that. So that definitely is also quite interesting.
The 0 to 1 is opening and closing the vents on the corresponding side that you'll see on your side as well.
That's cool.
As well as along with the door panels, you'll be able to set your seat positions, unlock and lock the vehicle. Have your hazards defrosters up front, And on the driver's side, you'll get extra information as well as hitting the gas pump. For hybrid vehicles, you do have to hit a button inside them as well, rather than the vehicle just be unlocked, because it is measuring the depth and pressure inside the vehicle before opening that fuel gauge.
Oh, that's pretty cool. And also there's actually while you're driving, there's a little screen that turns on. So you can literally be like sitting low and just look at the screen of the car instead of the window. That's actually just like on, you guys could actually check that video out with the link in the description. But I reviewed a redefining Vengeance, and that had the same type of like screen thing where you could look down and you have a screen as well as seeing out of the window, which is definitely really, really cool. And yeah, this thing is definitely seriously fast. It sounds quite nice too. We don't got like a like mic or something on the engines, or that would definitely sound quite nice. Yeah, so that's definitely quite cool. And steering wise, it's also one of the heavier BMWs. I don't know exactly how much, but it's just pretty heavy because of all the like hybrid and V8 and stuff like that. So that is also quite cool. And yeah,
Trying to get the exact estimate, I want to say close to 6,000 pounds. These are on the heavier side comparable to SUVs because the electric motor and the V8 engine obviously being a lot heavier than most. With battery cells, electric vehicles or any hybrid vehicles run heavier than the standard models.
But yeah, so we've test drove this thing. Let's start checking out this interior and see how cool it really is. So I think we've checked out pretty much all of the exterior of this seriously cool car. Now let's hop inside and see if the interior is just as sporty and wild. So let's go. Okay, so once you hop inside, this car is definitely seriously nice. Let's start checking out this interior because it's definitely going to be a blast. So let's go. First, I want to talk about this. You have this beautiful carbon fiber trim coming all the way across this car. And it's actually like there's little like metal weaved into it, which is quite strange. But yeah, so you have that nice metal weaved into it there, and so smooth and beautiful. Then you also have this nice ambient lighting here, which is definitely really nice and beautiful. You have more trim there as well. And actually, when you get inside this car, I didn't catch it on camera, but when you get inside, there's like the BMW, like the M colors, the red, then the like turquoise and the blue, and just flashes by on these ambient lighting trims. That is also definitely seriously nice. Then you also have your Bowers and Wilkins system there. You have lock and unlock. You could change the seat height and stuff like that. You have 2, 1, and set. I'm not sure what that means, but yeah, it's definitely really nice. Then you can also roll the windows up and down there. You have nice, it's almost like upside down Porsche type handles there, which is definitely quite interesting. And yeah, then you also have nice trim here. You have a nice little handle here as well, which also looks really cool. And yeah, then you also have some more leather trim there, 2 cup holders there, and yeah, then actually let's start checking out these seats because I definitely want to try these out. So just pull this down, click it in place, and yeah, it's definitely seriously nice. So that is also really cool, and also the seat holds you in place as well. Really nice. I definitely like the way it holds you in place as well. It's also really cool. You have M5 badging there as well, which is also really cool. Then actually check this out. So you pop this down and you have this nice little like storage space type of thing here. You have M badge there, and you can actually lock this as well, which is also really nice. And yeah, now actually let's check out the screen. Okay, and so let's now check out this screen. It's definitely really cool. I want to show you guys some really cool things I highly doubt you guys knew about M screens in specific. So you go to home, let's say, right, and you see you have your little map here, you have setup, info, and really cool, you have like the PSI for your tires, you have customize your BMW, drivetrain, vehicle, oh sure, if the key's missing or not, then you also have your series. So this is a BMW 5 Series, but an M version, so it says 5. Then you have media, radio, and telephone. And also you have traffic route. But then also to show you guys one really cool thing that I highly doubt you guys knew. So let's say I want to bring my 5 logo to the front. Okay, so I'm gonna hold it down for a couple seconds, then I can move it and put it back to the front. Or let's say I want this, if I'm on a racetrack and I want to see my performance and stuff like that, hold it down for about 2 seconds, drag it over here, and voila, there you go. So that is also definitely seriously cool. Now let's start checking these things out. You have nice setup here. You have comfort, mid, and so you could change them to comfort mode. You have like the different sport exhaust and everything like that, and you have also brakes and stuff like that. So you can actually control the brakes if they're in sport mode or comfort mode, depending on if you're in racing on a track or something like that. So that is definitely quite nice. Then you can press here and you see everything about your car. And one thing that's also seriously cool is that, check this out. So it always shows, you can actually move it around here, but let's just move it like this. So if I open my door, then it'll actually show that the door is open, and it'll kind of move to this side, but see, it shows the door is open. Then when we close it up, it automatically shows that it's closed up. Then you also have tire pressure monitor, engine oil level, check control, and stuff like that. And actually, you also have adaptive content. I don't know what that means. You have trip data as well, which is also quite nice. And actually, let's see how quick the screen is, because I've never reviewed a BMW before, but this definitely seems quite nice. So drag it across there, and let's just hold on this character. So it looks a little more laggy on the phone, but this thing is seriously, whoa, it's really seriously reactive. You have back to current location, search at current location. You have suggestions, content, and zoom. So I guess you could change like, so that's reduced manual zoom, expanded, so I guess it zooms out when you're driving and stuff like that. So that's also really nice. You have destination input, you have recent destinations, and you have my destination. So that is also definitely quite cool. You have your PSI from your tires, tire settings, and everything like that. Then you also have personal assist, drivetrain, media, radio, and telephone. So I can't use a lot of these because they're like, I guess you could say you have to have an account to use them if you actually buy this car. But yeah, that is definitely quite nice. Then you can just go straight to here, your search. Then you could also turn on your mobile devices. You have media and radio. Let's just go back there. Then of course you have your phone and all these other apps. Another thing that's also cool is on these apps, check this out. So if I hold, I could actually move it around like this, which is definitely nice. And it's easy, you just tap and it goes there. So that is really nice. And actually you could close the rear blind. So you have a rear blind back there. If there's too much, let's say sun on your back, then just close that, or you could close it. So that is definitely really cool. Then you have comfort access, keys, tailgate, and much more. And also you have driving settings, charging, a whole bunch of other stuff, live vehicles, so that shows the view around the car. So, and this is actually the exact same spec. You can't see the interior, or the interior is white, but this is pretty much the identical spec to the one that I'm sitting in right now. And you have all these different apps. So that is also definitely quite cool. So yeah, then you also have vehicle. And so yeah, we've checked out this pretty nice but pretty simple design of this screen on this really nice BMW M5. Now I'm show you guys actually this screen, because this is also really cool. You have dynamic plus, it shows that you're in park mode. You can see your revs there, it can go all the way up to 8,000 RPM. Then you have miles per hour. It goes all the way to 200 miles an hour, and this car could actually reach 200 miles an hour. So congratulations, BMW. You're the first company to ever tell the truth about the real top speed of your car. So that is definitely also really nice, or at least it'll go close to 200 miles an hour. It's also four-wheel drive thanks to that hybrid system in V8. You have the mileage left, the time, and yeah, then you also have the miles you could do on hybrid. You have the temperature, and so that is also seriously cool. But yeah, so that screen was quite cool. Now let's check out this. You have Max and stuff like that. You have more carbon fiber. These are two actually like charging pods for your phone, so they cool your phone down while you're charging it, which is also really nice. Then you also have your cup holders there, some more ambient lighting trim there, which is also really nice. And then you also have your M badge here, which actually controls your screen and stuff like that, which you also find really cool. You have park, you have different things set up and stuff like that there as well. You have start stop button, reverse, neutral, drive, and stuff like that. And yeah, so that's also really cool. Then let's talk a little bit about here. You have SOS, you have a nice little camera there, and you also have your lights. You could turn them on or off, which you can't really tell the difference, but yes, you could turn them on or off, which of course is quite nice. Then you also have your sideless mirror there, which also looks quite cool. And actually, the lights look like they're blinking on camera, strange. But yeah, then also you have this. So let's check out this center console. You have this nice center console here, a little storage piece right there, and a little more storage space here. Definitely not the most storage space I've ever seen in a car, but still, I mean, I guess you could say it's a little sufficient, but yeah, so let's close it up. You actually have to close each individually, which probably isn't the most good feature, I guess you could say, but it's still quite nice that you have a pretty good amount of storage space there. Then also you have a good amount of footroom here as well. And yeah, overall this interior, it's definitely quite like seriously luxurious. I want to talk a little more about this leather because this leather is like so luxurious and nice. Like, look how beautiful. No creases or anything, just like perfectly designed leather. Stitching is also like that stitching is literally almost perfect. The seat belts are also insanely good. And overall, this car is definitely seriously nice. But yeah, then also you have nice little storage, or nice little like piece right there for the AC or something like that. You also have a nice sun like protector there, and actually you only have a little LED light there. What the heck? So instead of having just like a light here or a light here, something like that, you just have a tiny little LED light that's right there. So that definitely isn't the, I guess you could say, greatest, but still, I mean, it's relatively good. And also, this whole interior is covered in this beautiful Alcantara trim. All this, one of my favorite materials, Alcantara, just so nice. I spread it all around the cabin of this car, and well, even this is completely Alcantara, so that is also definitely seriously nice. And yeah, then also footroom is also seriously good, like seriously good footroom as well, which is also, of course, quite cool. And also you could adjust the seat levels with this button here. Near quiet, like you could barely hear them, but I press it now, and it starts being like a second later, so there's a little bit of lag there, but still kind of strange. So that's weird. So you have to kind of press it down in order for it to go backwards, but yes, that is also kind of interesting. Then, well, the roof is also covered in nice Alcantara. You have this nice handle here as well. And actually, if you guys are wondering what these things are, and that thing is, so let's say you connect like Apple CarPlay or something like that to, well, your car. Well, it's really nice because, well, pretty much the whole car is a speaker. Like, all the speakers work so that you could hear the people you're calling, but then these little speaker things right here, that's actually for you to talk to. Because, well, these regular speakers throughout this car, like this one, which is cleverly integrated into the door, it's actually soft, interestingly enough. Well, those speakers pretty much just like let sound out of them. They don't get any sound inwards. But this one is an input speaker. So this is an input speaker, and that is an output speaker. It'd be really genius if someone came out with an input/output speaker, so you could just talk through your speakers that are here instead of having to add extra speaker type bits there. But yeah, that is also kind of interesting. Then you could turn on all the lights here, and there's no button. You just like tap it, which is kind of strange. It doesn't work all the time, but yes, that is also interesting. You have SOS there as well. You also have a little camera there, and actually, now let's talk a little bit about this steering wheel, because the steering wheel definitely is also quite nice. You have M1 and M2 there. You actually have also a paddle shifter. So this looks like a paddle shifter, but actually if you press it, it gives you extra turbo boost. So that is also definitely seriously nice. Then you also have those nice little pedals there as well, which is also quite nice. And also you have that little thing. This is for pretty much resting your left foot just like on there, so that if you're not using it, which you don't use it in driving unless you're driving a manual transmission car, which sadly BMW has no more manual transmission M5s, which is kind of sad, but still it's nice that this car is automatic with paddle shifters. But yeah, then you also have this 12 o'clock dial. Right now it's at like 4 or 5 o'clock, but this 12 o'clock dial pretty much means when the steering wheel is upright. Well, this is definitely just straight up, so it signifies 12 o'clock. So you always want your steering wheel when you're going straight to be at 12 o'clock, so that is really nice. Then also I noticed you have M stitching on the steering wheel. So all the steering wheel, you have this beautiful M stitching, I guess you could say. You have the lighter blue, darker blue, and then red on it, so that is definitely also really nice. You have plus and minus there. You have nice M badging there as well, and this thin, like lightweight type design there, which also is definitely seriously nice. Then you also open the trunk with that button right there and open the windows. So yeah, so I think we've checked out pretty much all of the front seats of this really cool car. Let me just tell you guys one more thing before we hop in the back seats, because, well, you have this. So check this out. Nice Bowers & Wilkins speakers here. You barely see any of them throughout this car, really, but you have those nice little speakers there, and you actually have your airbag slash speaker type of thing, I guess you could say, right there. And also, you have a holographic display, so that is also really nice. And actually, the holographic display pretty much lets you, like, it kind of flashes like a design onto your windscreen, so that when you're driving, you can see the speed you're going at, the range you have left, and everything like that. So that is also definitely cool. So I think we've checked out pretty much all of this really, really cool interior. Now let's hop into the back seats and see if they're just as cool. Okay, so now that we're in the back seats, I want to talk a little about this door first. You have nice Bowers & Wilkins speakers there. You have nice little window switches, actually like at an angle, like cliff type of angle, which is strange. Then you also have a nice little handle there. You could pull this up and connect it backwards. Kind of weird. Wait, let me do it with my right hand. So yeah, it flicks into the window, so you have to be really careful. But yeah, so that's a strange little piece there. Then you also have nice little storage here, a little more storage there, and actually a tiny little ambient light there, which is also quite cool. Then you also have your door handle there as well, and then you also have M badging here, a little thing that's actually really cool. So check this out. This is a charger. Look at how cool this is. So this is a secret charger. Check this out. So you pop this down, and then you also have this little storage area type thing right here, maybe to charge a camera battery or something. But yeah, then you also have your USB-C charger there, which is definitely quite nice. You have a hole through the seats. In case no one's sitting there, you can look at the front view and imagine you're in the front seats. Then you also have these indents, so if the seats really pull close, then you can still comfortably sit. And knee room and leg room is definitely seriously nice. Like knee room, 6+ inches of knee room, crazy good knee room. And yes, that is also really nice. Then also the headroom of this thing is also seriously like incredible. Beautiful Alcantara roof there, handle there, and actually you could also close this. I've never seen this before, but check this out. You close it up, and it's a little block there, so that is definitely quite interesting. Then you also have a nice little AC there as well. You have nice little USB-C chargers there, and then you have off and everything like that as well. Then you also have a nice little storage area for your phone there as well. And yeah, then also you have this nice little camera there. Oh yeah, I actually turned on the AC, so let me turn that off. But yeah, so let's now hop in the middle seat, and it's definitely quite nice. Yeah, great amount of headroom, leg room, and also the rear window view is quite nice. So I think we've checked out pretty much all of this really cool interior, exterior specs in driving this thing. Now let's hop out and near the end of our video. Okay, so I hope you guys liked this video. Remember to like and subscribe to Xaaron Views, and also check out my X and Instagram, where I post some of the coolest car news and car photography that I know. So I'll see you guys next time.